Welcome to Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton, and you're watching the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. And boy, have we got a show for you tonight. So stay with me for the next half an hour because it really is out of this world. Now, why would I say that? Well, just take a look at my guests. We have got Tim Peake joining us, the British astronaut that spent over 6 months in space. He's got some really fascinating things that he's going to be telling me, and also talking about his tour, which is currently going on across the UK. Now, talking about talented men and lovely men, Michael Betteridge will also be joining me, the artistic director and composer of the official We Invented the Weekend song, and he's going to be telling me about the festival itself, which is coming to Salford next month, and we may be getting a sneak preview of that song, which is very, very exciting. Alongside this, we have Greater Manchester Theatre News. We bring you that every week and tell you what is going on across our fine city when it comes to theatre. So lots and lots of things to look forward to. But hey, let's kick off our show in a way that makes me feel over the moon. See what I did there? No, of course, this week it was very special because I got to chat to Tim Peake. Now, this is brilliant what he's doing. He is taking his story on the road up and down the country about going into space, which I think is absolutely amazing. Now, I got to catch up with him. He's got a really, really busy schedule, but he took the time out to tell me all about it. Have a look at this. Now, for me, talking to an actual astronaut who's been into space, Tim, is something really, really special. There is this fascination with people that have been into space for the whole general public. Do you find that when you go out and about? And why is it we're so fascinated?
Yeah, I do, Michelle. It's a great question. I think everybody at some stage in their lives has kind of thought about the big questions, and instantly you kind of turn to the stars, you look to the sky and think about where did we come from, where are we going to? And space is full of wonder and it's full of curiosity and inspiration, and no more so than when you're younger and you're kind of thinking about that. So I love it. If you've had the opportunity to go out into space, to be able to come back and to kind of try and relate to people about what it's like out there, and just how tiny planet Earth is in this big, vast, infinite universe.
I mean, it is incredible what you've done yourself, but what I love is you are taking this to the stage. You've already been on tour with it. You're going around the country with it. And Tim Peake, A Journey into Space, is pretty much, I've heard, the closest me and the public can get to feeling like they're there, yeah?
That was our intention. Yeah, I kind of wanted to try and give people an evening where they feel like they've actually gone on a mission to space. So it covers my life story about how I kind of got selected, but then it goes into all astronauts, how we train for a mission, what it's like to launch, to get to the space station, living and working in space, and then take you on an orbit of planet Earth to try and really give you that experience of being an astronaut in weightlessness. And then, of course, spacewalking, which is another step even more unbelievable than just going onto the space station, to actually step outside and go on a spacewalk.
Now, I heard that it actually took you about 5 years of training once you got accepted on the program. And then wasn't it another couple of years after they said, Tim, you're actually going into space? Now, that's a hell of a lot. What was most challenging about that training, Tim?
It's a long training process to be an ISS crew member. So for the International Space Station, we need to do everything, really. You need to know how to fly the spacecraft, how to rendezvous and dock with the space station, how to do spacewalking. But you also need to be the doctor on board, the plumber. You need to fix the loo when it breaks. You need to be able to do a spacewalk, to operate the robotic arm, to speak Russian language. The list goes on and on and on, and I haven't even touched the science yet. So we spend a lot of time training. I think the hardest thing is trying to understand what's really, really important that you need to know without checklists, and then what you can rely on checklists for to help you out. So there's a huge amount of information. It's being able to work out, okay, I really need to know that. that bit's not so important. I'll have a checklist for it.
Wow. I mean, talking of all those lists of things that you have to learn, you must be the best friend, the best husband, the best father to have that can just go, do you know what? You've got like a sore tooth. I'm a dentist. I can pull that out for you.
Well, I was joking with some colleagues. We've got an astronaut selection process on at the moment, and we were talking about what we need to get our astronauts to do to try and choose them and select them. And I said, all you need to do is get 4 of them in a room and get them to build a wardrobe. If they can work together with a few tools and construct a wardrobe, they're pretty much good to be astronauts.
Hey, if anyone can build an IKEA wardrobe, I think that's it. Tick that list off. It's a one-man show, this, and for any performer, that's a scary thing. But I'm thinking, if you've been launched into space, surely you've had no nerves going and facing an audience on your own.
Oh no, exactly the opposite, Michelle. I was terrified the first time. But I have done lots of speaking before to schools and colleges and universities and things, but it's very different when you're putting on a show, and it's an hour and a half. I mean, we've got a break in there, but so when I sat down with my tour manager and we put it together, we were kind of thinking, okay, what do we include and where do we include it and how do I remember all of this? But as it happened, it turned out to be a really great process, and now I really look forward to it. I look forward to the shows, but this time last year when I was putting it all together, I was quite nervous about it, definitely.
Oh, you said then you talk to lots of schools, and I love the fact that you're a STEM ambassador and really championing STEM in young children. I have got a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they wanted to put a question to you each. So I'm going to hand over to them now, if that's okay, Tim.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Hi Tim, I'm Daisy, and I want to know what it's like to walk in space.
That's a great question, Daisy. Walking in space, it's on the one hand, it's really, you're quite nervous when you go out there because it's something that's very exposed, it's high risk, you're very isolated outside the space station. But on the other hand, it's beautiful. You're in weightlessness, you're floating, and you just got the beautiful planet Earth behind you, the universe, the other direction. It's the most incredibly beautiful thing that you can ever experience. So there's this real mix of emotions of, on the one hand, wow, it's pretty scary, you're out there, but on the other hand, isn't this incredible?
Oh, now over to Harry then on this next question, because he has something a little bit different to ask.
So, Tim, what's it like seeing Earth from space?
Harry, seeing Earth from space is spectacular. And every time you look out the window, there is something different and very special to see. Earth is constantly changing, the weather systems, the seasons. I never ever got bored of just going to the window with a camera and taking photos of Earth. In the daytime, you don't really see humans, you don't see habitation. It's just this stunning, blue of the oceans, the green forest, the orange deserts. And then at nighttime, Earth comes alive with lights from towns and cities and motorways, and you get thunderstorms and the aurora. So just by day and by night, Earth changes completely. And we orbit the Earth every hour and a half. So we're seeing sunrises and sunsets every 45 minutes. So we get to see lots of days and lots of nights in just one 24-hour period.
There must have been so many moments, Tim, during those 6 months that you're in space that were just incredible for you. Can you actually pick one out to say, that's a big moment for you?
I think the most special moment was when I was on a spacewalk with my crewmate Tim Copra, and we got to the very furthest edge of the space station. So we were literally hanging on the edge of the station, and we had 10 minutes to wait until sunset because we got there early. Sun was setting and it was live electricity flowing down the solar panel. And mission control said, just hang around for 10 minutes and wait for the sun to set. And it's very special because normally on a spacewalk, you're working incredibly hard all of the time. So to have 10 minutes to just float there, push off from the space station and take photographs was unbelievable.
I loved just hearing you talk about it. This show is going to be really special because what comes from you is this passion. I'm seeing your face there and I'm going, he's got to be going back to space sometime. Have you got the plan? I know there's been rumors about you wanting to do a space mission to the moon, Tim. Say it's going to happen, please.
I'd love to. I'd love to. It's not my decision, unfortunately, but yes. Some of my colleagues are on their second mission. Samantha Cristoforetti, she's on board right now on her second mission, and we are starting the moon missions just later this year. In the next month, they're going to be uncrewed this year, but hopefully the first crewed mission will be next year, going round the moon. So that's really exciting as well. We've got so many things happening in space right now. So if a second mission comes along, that would be fantastic.
Oh, and in the meantime, we get to see you on stage coming to the good old Northwest. So I cannot wait. I'll be racing down there myself because I just think it's fascinating. And you are the most loveliest man, honestly, on the universe and the whole planet, I imagine now. That's it. You can name that.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, thank you, Michelle. It's been lovely talking to you, and I can't wait to get to Manchester.
Oh, what a lovely man Tim is. And honestly, I could have chatted to him forever. He was so fascinating of what he's saying. And I really, really want to go and take a look at him in action on his one-man show. It's going to be at the Bridgewater Hall very soon. So try and get down there if you can. I think it's going to be a very special night. Now, coming up on the show, we have still got lots to get through. We've got Michael Betteridge. He's going to be joining me to talk all about the festival We Invented the Weekend. And then we get a sneak peek at the song he has created especially for that time. Oh, it's very exciting. But first, let's take a look at our weekly slot of Greater Manchester Theatre news. And what is happening this week? Really, what is on the radar? Well, something that's made me get a little bit excited is this, because I remember back in 2019, a group of fishermen that went straight into the charts with their sea chanties. You know who I'm talking about. Fisherman's Friends. Well, they made a lot of money for charity. As I say, they hit the charts, had a film made all about them, and now they have got a musical too, and it's going across the country, and it's stopping at the Lowry on the 27th of September, all the way through to the 1st of October. James Gadders from Casualty is one of the stars of this production, and what can we expect? Well, lots of sea shanties and lots of laughter as well. I think it is going to be really, really nice, really heartwarming, and such a great story too. And of course, it's true. Something that is coming a little bit earlier on, we don't have to wait too long for now. It's happening from Wednesday through to Friday next week. It's Cushy. Now, Cushy is a free South Asian festival. Now, they're having that at Oldham Coliseum. It's the first time they've done this festival, and it's completely free, which I think is brilliant. You do have to book on the events, but they don't cost anything, and they can be anything. There's some poetry in there, there's some pottery, there's conversations, and of course, as you can see here, with Shobna Gulati, no less, one of our fantastic actresses, you know, from Coronation Street, you know, from Jamie, the musical and the film, and also more recently, she was on stage with The Rise and Fall of Little Voice. Now, she is on the Wednesday, the 24th of August, doing that conversation from 8 till 9, which I think will be one of the highlights of the show. Also, they're doing Bollywood dance classes. I am there with my dance shoes on. So do try and get involved in that, because I think anything that can make theatre more accessible and free for everybody, and that something is a bit different, is worth going to check out. And something else that you might want to check out that is happening in September is We Invented the Weekend. Now, not many people know that the weekend was actually created in Salford. And what I mean is, we used to have Sundays off, but we never used to have Saturdays until a man in Salford said that we should do. And if you want to learn all about the history of that, go to the We Invented the Weekend website, because this is a brand new festival. It's starting this September on the 10th and the 11th of September. It's between Salford Quays and Media City, UK. And there's going to be so much to do during that weekend. If you don't believe me, take a look at this.
Until the 1840s, we worked a 6-day week. But right here in Greater Manchester, a Salford-based activist fought to get working people more time off.
It's gonna be a party, y'all!
In 1843, the weekend was born. We invented the weekend, and we didn't just invent it, we know how to celebrate it. This September, join us for a new free festival at Media City in Salford Quays. This is a festival for everyone. Boxing or box sets, crafts or cricket, dancing or digging, reading or raving, swimming or samba, kicking back or letting loose, whatever free time means to you. This is everything a weekend should be, packed into 48 hours. Leisure time, free time, quality time and me time. Relaxation, fun, entertainment, indulgence and joy. We invented the weekend. The festival of free time.
That makes me exhausted just looking at it. But what does the Quays and Media City look like? We are so lucky to have it here in the north, and absolutely a fantastic weekend is planned, and it is free, which again is incredibly amazing. I had to find out more about this though, and especially the community song that they are creating for me and you and people just to get involved in on that weekend. So to find out more, I grabbed the artistic director and composer Michael Betteridge and just asked him, what does it feel like to be involved in a festival like this one?
I mean, the beauty of this project is that anyone can get involved, whether they picked up their violin or their instrument last week, or whether they have been playing for 40, 50, 60 years, and a professional who might be just want to do something different on the weekend. The piece is designed in such a way that anyone can come along, learn the piece on the day and get involved. All instruments are welcome as well, and that's the exciting thing. And you get to play along with the BBC Philharmonic, who have such a rich history in the area of being such a fantastic orchestra, but also at the heart of Media City, heart of Salford, it is an orchestra for the local area.
I think people forget that the Phil is actually right here with us. You know, it is in Media City. I mean, that is fantastic that we've got that.
Yeah. And what a brilliant, internationally acclaimed orchestra. They've just been doing the proms a couple of weeks ago. They've gone on tour, going all over the world, promoting the brilliance that is Salford right here. Here we are.
Now, the piece itself you have composed, and I think it's brilliant. I've heard a little bit of it as well, because I came down to the launch and I was like, this really captures the sense of the heart of what we're all about. And you were inspired by the poetry, weren't you, of Lynn?
Yeah, Lynn Walton, who I only met for the first time in person yesterday, which was such a beautiful experience getting to know her. And it's one of those strange things that when you meet poets and writers, kind of, you know it's them. You kind of get this sense of that's their words. There they are. So we had this lovely chat about her work and her beautiful poem, The Big Ditch, which I adapted slightly because in terms of it's quite a long poem, I kind of shortened it down, took some key moments. Docks Unlocked by Salford Quays, one of her key lines in that poem, became the main kind of refrain, if you will, for this song. So it's been really lovely kind of working with that and creating the song part of this, because it's worth saying as well, the song forms a part of this composition. But there's an instrumental element as well, because it's a 10-minute piece and there's lots of different elements going on.
I mean, that is incredible to think what it's going to be like when that's performed. So it's a 2-day festival, this. When are we going to see it? Do you know which day you're going to be performing it?
So we're on both days. We're both on the Saturday and the Sunday. So Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th. We're inviting our musicians to come along for a 10 o'clock start, perhaps a bit early for the weekend, but I know people will be there raring to go. And our vocalists who are joining in will come a little bit later. For those wanting to watch the performances, around 12:30 on both days, and we will be filling the piazza with people and with beautiful sounds.
And I think it is right that music brings people together, doesn't it? And is that kind of what was at the heart of creating a We Invented the Weekend song, really, to bring the community together?
Absolutely. The whole concept was to go that what do people do? The whole festival's about what do we do with our weekends? And for many people, music making is such a key part of their lives and their leisure time as well. And this piece, which BBC Philharmonic will play, and we also wanted to include vocalists as part of that to make sure that if someone's instrument is their voice, and my first instrument was voice, I do play piano, but voice was always my instrument, to ensure that everyone was included as well, whether you sing, whether you play, whether you do a bit of both. We might have some multi-instrumentalists, multi-talented people joining us on the day as well, so everyone can get involved and make their weekend even more special than usual.
Do you have to bring your instrument along, or are you going to have like some instruments that you can maybe hand out to people that they can kind of like get involved with, Michael?
We are inviting people to bring their own instruments if they have them, especially acoustic instruments. We're probably not able to accommodate things like electric guitars unless people have a mini amp, because it's in terms of technology and digital out on the piazza might be quite challenging. But if people are percussionists or want to get involved in different ways, there'll be a little bit of kind of handheld percussion bits and pieces. And also we'll be using kind of chants and rhythms. So people even could kind of speak some of the ideas or clap or use body percussion to kind of create a texture as well. So it's really open in terms of who can get involved.
And are you going to capture this moment on both those days? Because this sounds like something that will be unique on those sessions, because you may find something maybe on the Saturday that, doesn't maybe come up on the Sunday.
I mean, that's what's brilliant about this piece. Every time it's going to be performed, and in this instance, it's been performed twice. Who knows what the future might hold, but it's unique every single time. And that's what's so special about these kind of projects, in the way that when I'm as composer, I'm commissioned to write for orchestra, and that gets performed more than once, which is quite a rarity. But when it does, it's usually relatively similar. But the beauty of this piece, it is going to be made by the people that come and join in each day. So every day it's its own unique performance.
I love it. I love this as being a really, great, unique part of this festival. But the festival itself, I mean, there's so many creative things going on, be it art, be it performance, and the bit of history as well of, the docks and how it became. What does it mean to you then to, as I say, be involved with We Invented the Weekend, and what else are you looking forward at kind of getting involved in while you're there, if you've got time, Michael?
Yes, I do have the afternoon off on the Saturday, so that'll be great. I mean, for me, I'm originally from down south, but I now live in Manchester. I made it my home from the age of 18, and it's definitely a home for me now. I've been here, goodness, 15 years plus. And I don't remember it as a docks, obviously, but in terms of when the Lowry first started to open, when I first came to Manchester, and just seeing that region grow, and connecting with Lynn and all the work that she's done on that poetry for the Big Ditch that inspired this piece, just delving into the history. And it's a big responsibility as a composer and a creative to kind of create this piece. But I'm learning so much about the history and how things have changed, perhaps for the better, and how we can celebrate our history, but also where we're at now. I'm particularly looking forward to the takeaway, the Great British Takeaway, which is part of that. And I believe on the Sunday, there's going to be a massive roast dinner, which as a foodie absolutely appeals to me. So,
yeah, I'm there. A bit of singing, get your exercise and your vocal cords, and you've done your bit of a workout there. And then, you go and feed yourself up with a good old roast. That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, not only though have you been working on this, I looked at your CV and everything you've done. Michael, you've not stopped, honestly. You compose, you kind of work with lots of other people. The Sunday Boys is a big thing for you as well. And I love the fact that you can turn your hand to working with people that are amateur, to working with professionals. What is the true love for you, though? When are you happiest?
I mean, music's always been a massive part of my life. I never thought I was going to go into music. I was always a bit of a maths kind of geek or maths whiz as a kid. So I always thought it was going to be a maths thing. And then something clicked for me at 16, because I used to do loads of musical theatre as a kid. And I kind of went, maybe I'll give this a shot, because making music with other people is what I'm all about. Most composers, when they work, traditionally speaking, will kind of sit. I've got my manuscript paper. Here's a little bit of the piece, actually, because I'm working on it at the minute. So they sit with their manuscript paper. You can probably see a bit.
Yeah.
That's quite empty at the minute. But you can see there, this is a bit of the piece for the We Invented the Weekend Orchestra.
Wow.
We sit at home and we write our pieces. But for me, it's about going out there and making music with others. So that's why I do what I do, and it really, really fuels me. And yes, sometimes I take on many different projects, but every time you work with different communities, different groups of people, whether they've been performing music for years or it's the first time them working with music or a composer, I mean, that just fills me with so much energy. So it's a real honor and privilege to be able to do the work that I do.
And a little bird said that recently, only a couple of days ago, you have been working with football fans.
You've done your research, Michelle. Yes.
Always.
Yes, I'm doing a project with Sky Arts and Grange Park Opera, which is called From Footy Fan to Opera Star, which is a new opera that Sky Arts commissions called Gods of the Game. And I'm working with the fantastic tenor Nikki Spence to help train a chorus of football fans to become an opera chorus for that production. So we only started on Saturday. We went to Crewe Alexandra Stadium, which was amazing fun to sing on the pitch. And over the next 2 weeks, I'm working with them all on Zoom to get them ready for a big recording session in a couple of weeks' time. So
that's amazing. Are their vocals any good? I mean, we know that they do football chants, football fans, but how do they rate operatically?
I mean, when we heard them in advance, we thought good singers, lots of great singers. But when we brought them together on the day, the sound they made was just stonking. I think it's that thing that if you can chant those football chants, which I'm not very familiar with, it's a learning curve for me, but you have got that energy and that kind of the anatomy and kind of the power to also sing really, really well. So we did a lot of discovering on the weekend about that, and they make a great sound. It's sometimes actually reining them in, which is going to be the challenge potentially. So I cannot wait to see how that project develops.
I love the concept of that because, it is kind of that antithesis, isn't it? It's like you don't expect them to be able to turn the hand to that. So it's quite interesting seeing how it develops. When's that going to be on our screens? Do you know, Michael?
Oh, good question. I don't know yet. I know that the opera itself is being performed in October. So all of our material is pre-recorded and will be projected onto video screens as part of that performance. It's a very ambitious piece, a very modern piece as well, a real kind of turning point for what we can do with opera and how we engage with people and, engagement with opera. But yes, I'm not too sure what timescale, so I'll need to check in with the team.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we will keep our eyes out for that one. It sounds brilliant. And I suppose the final question I should ask, getting back to We Invented the Weekend, what do you like to do on the weekend? What would be your perfect weekend, Michael?
Well, my weekend always ends with a rehearsal with my beautiful and gorgeous choir, the Sunday Boys, which is always part of my weekend. I like a range of things. I'm a bit of a walker. I like going out and getting fresh air when I can, going walking. My partner lives in West Yorkshire in Marsden, so it's nice to go out on the moors and do that. A lie-in as well, if I can get the chance. But a glass of wine after rehearsals with the Sunday Boys kind of always ends a brilliant weekend. So
that sounds delightful. I may have to join you one of these Sunday evenings after class.
Come along. Yeah, we're always welcoming people to come and have a watch, come and have a sing. We're very open at the Sunday Boys.
Brilliant. I'm going to actually hunt out my glockenspiel from when I was a child now. It's going to go in the loft and see if I can hunt it out for We Invented the Weekend. I used to be able to play Yellow Submarine on it, and I even know the note still. B, B, C, G, B, A, B, G, B, B, A, G, E. So you never know. I could have that glockenspiel as part of your orchestra, Michael.
Well, Michelle, I've just been writing a glockenspiel part for our percussionists, so you may have a moment if we can find that for you.
Yes! Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Well, all right. We invented the weekend. It's the 10th, the 11th of September. People should get down there and try and also get involved with the song because it is going to be a real special moment. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been a pleasure.
Right, I better get that glockenspiel now. Otherwise, he'll be saying to me when I come down on the day, where is it, Michelle? Come on, we know you can do a good tune. So yes, if you want to get involved, the best thing to do is head to the We Invented the Weekend website. They've got all the information there. And in the lead up, watch our socials too, because I'm definitely going to be putting out some more information about that particular festival. And you can also get in touch with us via social media if you are doing a theatrical event or there's something that you want me to cover. Let me know. It's at Live in the Hive 21 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, if you want to find somewhere to go this week, next week, or just generally find out about Manchester, the best place to visit is the I Love Manchester website. It has got it all. All right, I'm going to leave you out of the show now with that sneak peek that I promised you earlier on. Of course, we've been talking about the song that Michael has composed for We Invented the Weekend, but we need to hear it. And here with a sneak peek is Michael himself. Enjoy, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Dark's unlocked by Salford keys. Take a breath from a Salford breeze. Glass and steel reach so high, drawing lines on our Salford sky. Long ago history was made. Our